Ahoy pirates! Stun is back here with a brand new video. Today we're going to be going over the free-to-play and pay-to-win hero combinations that you could have in Season 3. Let's stop being lubber and get into the video. First we're going to do free-to-play, and I'm going to lock myself down to only heroes that you can get from the Saga and then from the purple shells. So anything you can get from here. So you'll have every hero, from Molly, Sharky, Cordelia, that you can get from the purple shells. And then anything you've gotten from Saga, which leads all the way up to Season 3, so it would have been like Wanda and Tanaka. So kind of already free to play here. What I would do here is move Magnus for Armstrong. I won't talk about trinkets right now, just kind of going over heroes. So I would have Ahab, Delilah, Armstrong for free to play, because you can get Ahab from purple shells, and again, these heroes you can get from shells as well. Another combination you can have here would be Cursed Ed instead of Delilah, which would be free to play. You get them very early. You can get them pretty frequently. So this would be another setup you could have here. You could also, I've seen people use this. It won't probably let me replace, but I'll do it anyways. There it goes. I've seen Molly on flagships as well here. Another one you could do is free to play. I've seen it work in some places. It's not perfect, but if you're rocking like a different, couple, they only have like 3 ships, and you're going to rock a burning set, and you get a Molly, you could throw her here, which you'll get the bonus. And then last but not least, you could have a Django here. He's not going to get the bonus because he's not a first mate. And then if I was a pay-to-win player, this is what my flagship would look like right here. I think this is the best setup currently in Season 3. But again, there's certain situations, like I mentioned, is that I would put Django here as well, especially for PvE stuff. Just having him to get the extra rage to your other ships is definitely helpful. And even as a pay-to-play, I would still use that blue hero all the time. Now, things can change next season, especially when, moving some heroes around. So let's keep that in mind. But that's what I would use as pay-to-play. If you're kind of a low spender, you might not have Magnus, but I would just replace him with Armstrong. But you definitely want your ship to be tanky here. So for artillery, it's more difficult because you won't get Ophelia. But instead of Ophelia, what I would probably, if I had to choose between that, I would probably put Cordelia in. And then you would have Sharky and Q as probably the best option for a free-to-play artillery ship here. So you'd get Cordelia, Sharky. You can get all these from the purple shells. So I think that would be your best bet for that. You could also, if you didn't have a Cordelia, you could probably throw Madame Lulu. You won't get the benefit because she's an all-trade and she's not. She's a first mate. So you wouldn't get a better benefit out of that. You could also drop a full artillery and put Oscar in there and just have 3 artillery heroes if you just want to go full artillery and no healer. So, Oscar wouldn't get the buff, but you could still have all artillery, so that'd be another really good bet for especially a free-to-play player, because you'd probably have quite a few Oscars over anyone else, so then you would have all artillery damage. And he's a pretty really good hero. Oscar's not terrible, especially, or if you don't have Q, you could, have Cordelia, Sharky, so you could have this setup. Cordelia, if you don't have Q, or sorry, not Q, Chi. Phew, sorry about that. And then put Oscar in instead of Chi. So this could be another combo you could have, which then you'll get all the bonuses. You'll get her as the first, as the captain, and then him as the gunner. So this is another combo you could have as a free-to-play player on your artillery ship that I would definitely recommend. And then, of course, if you're pay-to-win or a low spender, you would still have you could have this setup. If you don't have, Chi, if you just got unlucky, this would be a great setup. And then if you already have Chi, I would replace out Oscar for Chi. So then onto the Cutthroat would be very difficult because you really want bones. I know a lot of free-to-play players will be able to get bones. What you would have to replace bones with is, again, you could rock Cordelia on there as a free-to-play if you have her. Again, you could have Onimusha, but you probably won't as a free-to-play. So what you would have to use is either Kojo in here, which I know Bob hates Kojo, but this will work very well. Kojo in here, and then a Luna. And if you don't have a Kojo, you could rock is a Madalulu will work in here as very well as well. I used to use her in Season 1, especially with a Blade of Freedom set. This could be very well done. Be very heals, be very supportive, just to have, you know, if you do have a Warhammer. As a free-to-play, you have to get very creative, and this could work very well for you. So I would recommend that, especially, you know, something like that. If you did get Bones as a free-to-play, you could have this as well. This would work with Madame Lulu. And if you don't have Onimusha early on, you have Kojo. This would work as well. And then, of course, like if you're in Season 3, you can have Onimusha as well. And that's what I'd be rocking as a pay-to-win. So your Stormbringer, as you guys know, I kind of rock a strange one. But again, it would be a free-to-play build. This is a definitely, you could rock this build as a free-to-play. Especially if you get lucky with Wanda. Because you'll get Wanda through the Saga, at least one of them. You'll get Tanaka through the Saga, and you'll get Cordelia through Purple Shells. So this is technically a free-to-play build. It doesn't look like it, but you could definitely have it as a free-to-play. Another one for Stormbringer, you would get Lester, and then you would have like Will as your first mate, and then you would have Ned. So this would be a burning build, free-to-play right here. So if you want to do burning damage, this is what you could have for there. Again, you could slip in, instead of having Ned, you could put Wanda in there. You won't really have an Adeline as a free-to-play, but you could put you could still have Wanda in here and have this. This would probably work if you have this kind of combo for burning damage. Well, Wanda will still give you, you know, the rage to keep getting the dots going. You could have Tanaka in there as well. You could have something like this as a free-to-play. This is another free-to-play build. Doesn't look like it, but you could rock that. That would work for a really good burning build, in my opinion. Especially if you somehow get really lucky on the trinkets and get Tanaka's trinket with Lester with Chain of Bombs and with a Wanda on there, you could have a very good burning build for a free-to-play player. Another one you could have if you have like a Barnacle, because, you know, Stormbringer, if you have it set up where it could be all water damage, you would have like Adeline, Barnacle. You could have Wanda here. This would work for taking on water damage, but in my opinion, taking on water damage is probably the weakest damage type out there at the moment. It's very lackluster. But if you had to go all full taking on water damage, you put all Morrison on here, aka Mad Dog. They changed his name, but I'm still going to call him Mad Dog. So you would have Barnacle. This would be a taking on water damage if this is the best you have as a free-to-play player. And yeah, Adeline is strong. She is definitely strong. But she is the only really strong taking on water damage, so you would have to mix match her. You could have a ship like this that would work with Adeline, and then you could have this that works very well usually with Adeline. So this would work as a pay-to-win. Lester's very good. You could have Cordelia, and then you could do maybe something funky like this. Might work if you want Adeline in there, and this is what you have. As a, you know, a little bit low spender, this could work. I haven't personally tested it, but I could see it probably working. I'll see why it wouldn't. You'll get the dots off of Tanaka here, and then Adeline does, you know, crazy amount of damage really fast. So she's definitely the best taking on water damage hero, but there's just nothing that pairs well with her. Yeah, luckily, in my opinion, the Stormbringer is the best ship in the game, just because, not even by its unique skills, but the unique skills definitely help because you can kind of set up different combinations, but it gives you many options as a free-to-play and pay-to-win player to have definitely many options with the heroes you have available to you to be able to come up with different combos and what works best for you. Like I said, my build's unique to most people that don't have this build. It just works. It works for what I want it to work, and this is what I have set up as my go-to right now, which is Cordelia, Tanaka, and Wanda. I'm not going a full burning build, but it works for me as a support ship until we get a support ship next season. Now for pay-to-win wise, you're probably going to be using a strategy ship, and this is what the setup would pretty much look like. There's not another ship you could really use as a strategy ship at the moment. You'd be only using Fearless Princess. In Season 4, you'll be able to get a strategy ship, but if you're pay-to-win, this is kind of the setup you would have. You would have Griffin, Boa, and Molly. There's no other really strategy heroes out there at the moment. Again, you'll get that one in Season 5 now. Thinking ahead further, so as a free-to-play player, the only way you could really go with your next ship is with, you would either have to use a Black Raven. If you have like a Dragonlance ship you could use. Most people are going to use the Crimson Sentinel, And then also, if you do have Providence, you could use that as well. But we're going to use Crimson Sentinel because most people will have that one. And now what you could do with this one is you could either, if you on your Stormbringer, if you weren't rocking a burning set with Lester, you could put Lester in here. You would be able to use Will. And then over here, you would use Ned. I would unfortunately can't put Ned in since it's not a level 12 ship. Another thing you could do as well is you could get creative if you do have some other heroes in here. You could put like Cursed Ed in here. You could also have another, like I said, Ned here, or you could have, if you have like maybe a 2-star Adeline, you could throw in here, because what the Crimson Sentinel will do is fire damage and burning damage. Another hero you could slip in here for free to play. You could use, Delilah. She's probably the only free to play strategy hero that you could really use in a strategy ship, because Griffins would be pay to win. Then you would have Boa as pay to win, and Molly's the only other free one. So if you wanted to go strategy, you would have to use Delilah and Molly, and then you would have to throw a hero in here. So you're already probably using Cordelia on another ship. And another thing, you could swap out Delilah if you wanted more heals on this burning ship. You could throw like Madame Lulu there. So it gets really tricky. I mean, most free-to-play players won't have this, this amount of ships. So it's something that they wouldn't really run into at the moment in Season 3. They might be just getting 31. If you're a complete free-to-play player, you're just getting 31 in Season 3. So you would have this problem, but you would also, have other heroes available. I'm just really locking this down to really strict standards. So again, you could have a Barnacle in there if you weren't rocking him in your Stormbringer, and then you could go full taking on a water damage here, and then put Mad Dog here, which would work out pretty well for you. So again, it gets much trickier with free to play with the restrictions, but coming into Season 3, you wouldn't have these amount of ships, so it really isn't a major issue for you. But at the end, you should be at 31. I know all our free-to-play players are getting to 31 in Season 3, so most should as well. And you'll have a lot more heroes available to you from the gold shells that you've gotten through the other seasons and events. So this will be a little bit more trickier here, but it's definitely doable. That is all I have for you pirates today. I hope I was able to provide a few new ideas for all kinds of players and their lineups. If you like these kinds of videos from me, please let me know by liking the video and leaving comments below on your thoughts of my selections today. Now get out there, pirates, and send your enemies to Davy Jones's locker.